Happy fucking Monday, bitches. Oh, Cardi, don't come for me. I love you. Oh my God. Okay. Happy Monday. Quickly, I know that it is not a happy Monday for a lot of people right now. There's like just traumatic events happening left and right with these California fires. I did want to touch base very quickly. I know most of you probably saw my Instagram. I've been collecting donations. I literally have enough I have enough donations to fill up my full trunk and back seat of my Toyota RAV4. And I'm still waiting on 3 other households. So I just want to say congrats to all of us and everybody who contributed or donated or even just took the time to share and reach out to families. I hope that there's more that we can do. You know, as far as I know, a lot of people have donated and contributed to the point where a lot of places are not accepting donations. There's still volunteer work to be done, and it's still not over. So I know in the light of all of the events going on in the world, it may not be the happiest Mondays. I know a lot of my listeners are AZ people. However, if you're tuning in and you're a California queen, I hope that you could just use this episode to disassociate and just, have a little fun, have a laugh, like take a break from the reality of life because we all need that sometimes. Before we jump in, you guys literally pulled the fuck through. Okay, I had absolutely no idea what today's episode was going to be about. That's not true. I did have some ideas, but in light of everything going on, I felt like complaining about my first world problems was a little tone deaf. So we had to pull through with something different. And I think this is the most engagement I've ever gotten on my Instagram stories. You guys like really showed out. I'm so excited for this episode. And we're just going to jump right into it. Let's go. Girl, stop talking. I'm not even like drunk. I've just been like drinking. Hey bitches, are you ready? Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking. All right, before we start talking about sex, because we're going to get into it, I wanted to touch base on some of the goal setting things that we have going on this month. I'm sure as you can see, we're the second Monday into January, and we have a little theme this month. It is manifesting, goal setting, being intentional, and trying to change our poor habits. So, next week's episode is also going to go a little deeper into that. I will have a guest on. I'm really, really excited. I'm going to hold off on the announcement just yet, but I'm super excited for next week's episode. We're going to dive deeper into the goal setting, not only how to create them, but also how to follow through and how to stick to them. And if you fall off, how to bounce back very quickly. So it's going to be a really good episode. For now, I heard this theory. Have you guys heard this? Okay. Apparently, January 10th is National Quitters Day. And I saw this floating around the internet and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy because the day I heard about it was actually the morning of January 10th. And my bestie sent me some very fun voice notes, which maybe we will unpack in an episode coming soon, where he literally was like, don't be mad at me, but I literally am taking myself out tonight. I'm breaking my dry January and I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, don't judge. I'm like, you know what, girl? Not judging you. And then I saw this theory. So I want to read this to you. This is just straight from Google. January 10th is the resolution quitter theory. The idea that a significant number of people tend to abandon their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday of January, often called Quitter's Day, due to the initial enthusiasm wearing off and the challenges of maintaining new habits once novelty fades. I thought this was so interesting just because it was literally happening to someone in my life, and we were talking about it on January 10th. Um, and the whole idea is that, like, it's been, a week and a half in, you've set these unrealistic expectations, and not saying that drinking is an unrealistic expectation, but just in general, you've set these really high, firm goals, and you're like excited, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you just get back into your normal routine. Like, you haven't set up enough of a new structured habitual change. And so the excitement wears off, you're into your regular routine, and then you're like, well, what am I, like, for the drinking, what am I doing with all this extra time? Oh, well, it's the weekend, so I deserve a drink. I cannot tell you how many times that thought has crossed my head when it comes to me not drinking. Like, oh, well, it's Friday, you can have a drink. It's like, just because it's Friday doesn't mean anything. Like, the more Fridays will come, more weeks will come. So if you've made it this far, congratulations. You have made it past National Quitters Day. Um, I just wanted to read a couple more things that it said. It says why people quit, which I kind of just went over, but factors contributing to this phenomenon include setting unrealistic goals, lack of a concrete plan, not having enough support, and experiencing initial setbacks. Impact on goal setting. Understanding the resolution quitter theory can help people set more realistic, achievable goals, break down the large tasks into smaller steps, and find strategies to stay motivated throughout the year. So if you are struggling with some of your goals, which sounds like most of you are doing pretty good based off of my Instagram today, I would encourage you not to be discouraged if you've already broken them or haven't completely followed through with your goals, because you can still continue on. Just because you haven't been 100% perfect, nobody's perfect. We all have setbacks. We get sick, we fall out of our routine. But what is so important is the bounce back. So what I would do is take that goal that you have and almost create like a bubble chart, if you will. You can have that goal in the middle of the piece of paper, state what it is. Like, let's just use the drinking as an example. Dry January, or like not drinking for 30 days. Circle it and then make little trees, like make a little tree. Remember, we used to do that in like elementary school when we were learning how to make tree graphs. Is that what they're called? Bubble graphs, something. And basically then list off like some of the things that you can do within that, because the importance of it all is just taking it day by day. So maybe instead of saying, I'm going to be sober for 30 days, you go, I'm going to do 7 days, and then readjust, reevaluate. That will kind of help move some of these goals moving forward. Okay, I wanted to get into what some of your guys' goals are this year, which I really see a theme with these goals, and that makes me super happy. So I'm just going to read some of them off. This guy said to make money, buy a ring, and propose. Oh, that is a good one. Are you my man? No. Someone send this to him. Clip it. That's a great goal. Congratulations. I hope that all works out for you. Next one says, this listener says, birth a human. Girl, beautify my home and stay consistent with the schedule. Okay, I love that. I love in-home realistic goals. Regardless, that baby's coming out, girl. She is coming out, and there's no way to fail that one. Okay, well, we're not going to go down that hole anyways. So I like those. Also, I love the beautify my home, because when I first got into my place that I'm in right now, I had a vision, right? And I'm to the point now where it's almost fully completed. I'm utilizing every space. I've like designed like each room to be so different and fun and lots of color. The only thing is I need a comfy couch. I should make that one of my goals. But Beautifying a home is expensive. Next, save money, buy a house, save fucking money. Girl, save that money, sister. Again, I encourage you if you want to save money, there's tons of like tricks and tips to save money. I know there's like an envelope system. I'm sure you can look that up on Google. But I would also like plan accordingly for that. Like, what does saving money look like to you? How much do you want to save? How much can you save every day? Can you like take things out of your daily spending that will help, motivate you and encourage you to save more money? Like maybe you're going to just eat out once a week or go out once a week. And then anytime you think about spending food, you could literally just take that money, like say like, oh my God, okay, I'm hungry. I want to go to eat, it's lunchtime, and then be like, you know what? No, I'm going to take that $25, put it in my savings, and then I'm going to drink this fucking protein shake and make a meal. That might be an easy way to do that also. Someone else says health, wealth, and happiness, baby. I love that. Lots of health, lots of nutrition, lots of wealth. It's all coming to you. I heard someone say unhinged joy, and I'm like, what a way to be completely unhinged. And I can resonate with that fully. This other listener says, give myself grace, slow down and enjoy life, and focus on my mental health. Seriously, all great things. This is one thing that I struggle with is giving myself grace, or even like giving myself enough credit for the things that I have done. My brain is always like going, and I think like I'm not the kind of person that struggles with like me feeling enough. I'm the kind of person that struggles with like not doing enough. I'm like, I could do more. It could be better. So I totally love being able to slow down and like count your fucking wins. Hell yeah. Lastly, one of my besties wrote in and she said, full-time trader, healthiest physical self, and travel somewhere new. First of all, trading could not be me, but I'm glad you're out there doing the Lord's work, sister. Make some money. Love that. Happiest, healthiest physical self. This was one of my goals last year. I literally told myself I'm going to be in the best shape of my life by April 2025. And this body has built a lot of fucking muscle, girl. We're just trying to lose excess body weight. Okay. Body recomposition. Here we go. Okay. Well, now that we've kind of gone over our goals, it seems like everybody is doing pretty well with that. So super, super happy for everyone. We're going to pivot and we're going to get into the sex. I absolutely love talking to people about their sex lives. I love it when you guys are so unbelievably open with me and like responding to all of my messages online or my polls and questions and all of that. I'm also so grateful for like the bird's eye view into like your own personal lives. And I just feel very, very grateful that you guys trust me with, opening up and talking about some of these like more delicate, vulnerable situations. Moving into the sex part, I did a little poll online and you guys showed up and showed out, girls. Not just girls, the guys, and the gays. You guys came together and you're like, we're gonna help her create this episode. Thank God. I love that a lot of my following on Instagram is right in like the same age range and group as me. However, I love everybody who is a Gen X and a Gen Z also contributing. And the reason why I asked this is because I was looking up some sex in the news and seeing and trying to see what people were saying. Unfortunately, this is something that most of us just have to figure out on our own. And that's why I asked you guys how old were you when you lost your virginity, and how old were you when you first orgasmed? As we know, because I've shared the story a lot, I always say I had a whole ass baby before I had an orgasm, which sounds fucking crazy. But I literally remember let's see, my son was like 2. I was serving at California Pizza Kitchen in Mesa. And I remember talking with my girl coworkers about sex and whatever. I don't even know exactly what the conversation was about, but I do remember verbatim being like, yeah, I don't know if I actually ever have orgasmed. And their jaws hit the floor. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, sex is fun and I have a good time and it feels good. But like, how do you know if you've had an orgasm? And their responses are just like, oh, girl, you know. And I'm like, okay, then I must not know because I feel like I haven't figured that part out yet. So, how does one have a whole baby before an orgasm? Well, it's easier to get impregnated than to like understand your body and know what the fuck you're doing. So I used to blame men for that. I think we've had this conversation before. I did used to blame men for that. I just thought like, oh, well, they should know. Like they should just know. Like they're the guy. Like, why do I have to know? But now since doing this, I do think it's important. Well, obviously, duh, it's important. Because we have to figure out what we like. Like, for one, nobody's body is the same, which that would be like a thought that I think most of us would understand. And even though we understand that, I don't think a lot of the times that we compare like people's like anatomy being different, even though we all look different. And, so I've taken some responsibility for that. And I have a whole month worth of masturbation episodes. If you go back to May 2024, you can listen to those because there's tips and different ways and tons of fun advice. So go back to those episodes in Masturbation May. I did want to go through some of these though. Oh my gosh, if my phone will unlock. And just kind of share everybody's experiences so like, okay, we're literally not alone. Because in that moment when I was talking to my coworkers, I thought like, oh my God, everybody's just had an orgasm and I haven't. And I'm like, and when will I? And how will I know? And what does it feel like? And I had all these questions, but I didn't have anywhere to go. Why I didn't just Google them, I have no idea. Seemed like strange maybe at the time. And I wasn't actually like as involved in the industry, and there wasn't a whole lot of podcasts back then. This was like 9 years ago, something like that. The reason why I sparked this idea is because I saw this article in News Weekly, and it was titled Gen Z is the generation most satisfied with their sex life. And I was like, huh, that's so interesting because they're obviously younger. They're coming into their 20s, early 20s right now. And I don't know about you, but that was the worst time in my life for sex. Literally so bad. And I guess they did a survey among Gen Zs, and it said the study polled 2,000 Americans across different age groups and found that 52% of respondents were born between 1997 and 2006 reported being very satisfied with their current sexual experiences. And millennials trailing behind 50%. Okay, we're not that far behind, you guys. And baby boomers 45%. I do think a lot of this is because, there's more access to social media and podcasts and people are opening up and actually having these conversations now. And that I think has a lot to do with like TikTok and Gen Z. So you go, girl. But let's share some of the Instagram people's responses. I was going to say quotes, backlash. I'm like, where are we at? Okay. We're going to do lost virginity, orgasmed. Okay. I think some of these, okay. 14 years old, lost it. 17 had an orgasm. Good for you. Love that. 16, lost it. 23, orgasm. Okay, so we got some more time. I think mine was, let's see, I think I was 16 when I lost it, or when I had my sexual debut. And I don't think I had an orgasm until I was, well, I guess I had a baby pretty young, so I thought there was more time in between. So lost my virginity 16, and I think I had my first orgasm at 20. So like 4-year difference. Still, should not be having a whole ass baby before having an O. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, this says, ooh, this is controversial, maybe a little. Lost my virginity at 14, orgasm 7 or 8. Okay, now I'm sure some of you just gasped in your car or wherever you are listening to this, like, what happened to her? No. So I'm pretty sure I've talked about this as well in the masturbation episodes. To me, this sounds like this person, sorry, I'm trying to keep it on the low, experienced pleasure when they were a lot younger, like most of us do. And I think there are different ways that we start to like feel this pleasure. I know for me, it was humping a pillow. Raise your hand. And if that was you. And it's so interesting because that didn't come to my head when I thought of orgasming. I definitely don't think I had an orgasm. I think there was a lot of buildup, but then it would just stop and then I would feel like all of the shame. So I actually love that, like that you can look back and be like, no, I think I had my first orgasms and felt pleasure when I was a lot little, but we don't always have the information around that. Oh, this one's good. 10-year gap. Well, with a partner, solo by 13 before virginity lost. Okay. So 10-year gap with a partner after losing the virginity. Crazy. This girl said virginity 15, orgasm 17, and then not again until 23. Girl. No. But it all, like, now that I'm reading through these, it seems like there's definitely a trend. It's like a 4 to 6 year gap. This girl said, lost my virginity at 17. I think my first O was 19. Another one is 1824. There's a couple girlies in here where they lost it and orgasmed same fucking time. Pop off, sister. We can't all be blessed. Let's see. Lost it at 15. First partnered orgasm was 23. I think I lost it at 12 or 13. First come, laughing face, but 17 or 18 for virginity. Okay, so solo sex orgasming 12, 13, but virginity was 17, 18. I thought this was like such a fun random poll to do, and I hope that you guys kind of enjoyed it a little bit, but we're going to get right on to this next segment. So the next thing that I had asked was, what could you go back, if you could go back, what would you tell your younger self about sex? And we've done some of these before, but I'm just going to read them off. Find a man that listens and relax. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, and it's okay to ask for what you want in the bedroom. Do not let fucking losers touch you, and stop performing, and have more patience and more anal. Okay, those were two separate, not the same person. Yeah, do not let fucking losers touch you. Ugh. Wait, don't be a little hoe. First and foremost, know your body, your pleasure, your priorities, and stay safe. It's okay to be selfish in your pleasure. It's okay if you don't want to have sex anymore after you get back to their house. I love that, okay? I can't tell you, like, how many times I just felt the pressure of, like, "Oh, well, like, we went out and we kissed and we," or no, not even that. It was, "We've made out and our pants are off," or, like, "He's already fingered me, so maybe we'll just keep going." That pressure of, like, you feeling like you have to finish just because you started. The other thing I will say, which is so random, um, that just popped into my head. Like, I remember I wouldn't feel confident saying that, I'm done. I actually don't want to follow through. And I was like so terrified to suck dick that I would just rather have sex. I'm like, well, I know he can come if we fuck, and I don't want to put his dick in my mouth because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, nobody teaches you those things. I never watched porn. Like, I never looked anything up. I mean, Google is a place, and I don't know why I never used it. You know why? Because when I was younger, we had a family shared computer. We did not have computers in our pockets. That's probably why. And no one was like, I'm not gonna like go to my mom and be like, "Hey, mom, teach me how to give a blowjob." I didn't even really know what the difference was of like or how to give a hand job, how to give a blowjob, and so I would just be like, "Okay, let's just have sex." Like, at least I know he can finish. And obviously, I was interested in the people. I think if I wasn't interested, I'm just like, no, I'm done with that. But I love that. I'm gonna read it again. It's okay if you don't want to anymore, even after you go back to their house. It's okay if you don't want to, even if your pants are off. You're allowed to change your mind. I love that. Don't abuse sex. Save sex for more meaningful relationships. Oh, that's such a good one, too. I was never a girly to really have meaningful relationships. And that sounds crazy because not me. That's not what I wanted. Like, I wanted meaningful relationships, but I never had them. Like, I felt like in high school, all the boys liked my two best friends. Um, and they didn't like me. I don't know what it was, but I always remember being like, they're the ones hooking up and like getting boyfriends and always having a boyfriend, or like that these guys like, or all like a guy. And then I find out that they like one of my best friends. And so I was always this like hopeless romantic wanting a relationship, a real relationship, but not having one. And then I finally got one and I got the ick. So maybe that says more about me. And broke up with him on Valentine's Day. It's so bad. Okay. It's supposed to be pleasurable for both. Yes. So easy for a man to come most of the time. Focus on yourself, girl. It's supposed to feel good and your pleasure is a priority. Yes. Get you a man that makes your pleasure a priority. Save it for people who matter. We love that. Don't just fuck everyone you like. Use protection always. Yes, use protection. This is a good one. Don't do anal before regular sex. It still counts for my religious girlies and it's traumatic. Okay, you can't go from 0 to anal. Okay, a poop hole loophole is not a thing, girl. And if you obviously don't know what the hell you're doing and you're just going to stick it in the back door, hello? No, 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 no. Don't allow your body to go through what it does not want, regardless of what they want. This girl, you kill me. She says, don't have sex with anyone. And I'm going to follow up with, you will get pregnant and die. It's supposed to feel good. And if it doesn't, they suck at it. It's not you. That's true. But communication is a thing too. You got to communicate those things. We don't want any jackhammering rabbits up in here. Okay. We're too old for that. This is a special thing. Don't be pressured to just give it away. Learn what you like. You, girl, You have the power, not the man. Pussy power, sister. Respect. Don't listen to your mom. Wait, don't listen to your mom. Only sleep with people you trust. Be selfish when it comes to an O. What is the? I'm going to need you to elaborate a little bit. What is don't listen to your mom? What's the mom got to do? What is she doing? What is she telling you? Hopefully she's telling you to be selfish and to only sleep with people you trust. I would hope that our parents are giving us healthy context around sleeping with people. Have more of it. Yes, have more sex. It doesn't have to feel like a chore. Just have it. Find some consistent dick in your life and wrap it up and go to town, girl. I love that. It's okay to express your needs and your wants. And then lastly, this girl wrote in and she said, nothing. I wouldn't tell myself anything. I had a great sex life. I learned a lot. I was always safe and still got an STD from my last ex, which is why I'm celibate. Girl, that shit pisses me off. And this person who wrote in DM'd me personally and shared her experience with me. And I am so grateful that, again, that she felt so comfortable doing so. I think we're literally going to do a whole episode of this about STDs and sex and dating and how to stay safe. And I think it's so important. It's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time because there is also so much shame and stigma around STDs and sex. But the one thing that I have to say, and I'm probably going to say it again in the episode, is nobody asks for it. Quite literally, nobody asks for an STD. People don't want STDs. Majority of the time, males are carriers and they don't even know they have one, let alone they're not going to get tested. And this, like this girl said, she was in a relationship. She always used, she was protected sex. I'm going to make the assumption that when you're in a relationship with someone that you trust, at that point, you stop using protection, aka condoms. Not everybody does that, but I feel like that's kind of the standard for most people and still ends up with an STD. Like, it's so fucked up because at that point, the person's either not being honest or they cheated or they haven't been tested and they're just not taking care of their health. And another thing is like, we're not taught to do these things. And because there is shame around all of this, you know, people don't want to admit to these things. They brush it under the rug and they just keep spreading them around. And it like lights me up that this girl is taking on all of this trauma on her own and blaming herself, even though she protected herself in every way that she could. And I think a lot of people deal with that and it needs to be discussed more. So that is going to be a whole other episode in itself. And I actually have a professional, I believe she's a physician assistant, PA, coming on, and she works specifically with STI and STDs, and she's been on the show before. And so that is going to be coming out in February, maybe March. I wish it could be sooner, but we're going to do it in person, so it'll be a lot better. Okay. Lastly, I did want to touch base on the celibacy because I had 3 or 4 of you say that you're celibate and you wrote in and kind of explained in a little more detail why. And so we're just going to read through those really quick. First of all, I just sparked a memory that I completely forgot about. I was also celibate once. And this was when I was living in Prescott. I was just tired of hooking up with people and having sex to have sex. And I had this ring that was passed down to me from like a family member. And I remember telling myself, like, you know what? This is going to be like all about me and my celibacy moment. And I'm not going to have sex. I want to find someone that I can be with, that I can trust, and like just focus on, having a healthy relationship and blah, blah, blah. And this was, I think I was in high school. So I think I was only celibate for like 6 months. And then that's when I had met my son's father. And that was a shit show. That was the complete opposite of what I was looking for. Um, and people thought I was crazy. I remember like I was very young then. I think I was like 17 or something. And I was just like sick and tired of it, of having like this meaningless sex. So I can relate to this. I don't choose that life anymore, but I understand. So this girl wrote in and she said, I chose celibacy because, for one, I'm heartbroken and healing. Sorry, girl. That's the best time to just focus on yourself. 2, these losers don't deserve me. Girl, they most definitely don't. Not the losers. And 3, I want to focus on building a career and I get too invested in boys. Oh, how many of us can relate? Obsessing and so invested and like wanting to put so much time into someone that isn't giving the same amount of time back. Oh my God, I love those. And honestly, those are like resolutions too. Those are like goals for the future to just set yourself up better, deal with being sad, and find some tips for healing. I would also encourage you to don't like swear off like relationships or men completely. I do think that once you put your priorities in line and you set firm boundaries for yourself and you're intentional and you date intentionally and start to allow men to come back into your life, and when you see those red flags, you shut them down and you walk away instead of being like, oh my God, my favorite color is red. You don't accept anything less than what your boundaries are. Like that's when the healing really comes. And speaking from myself, like I a lot of my healing came from the relationship that I'm in. It came from finding a man that continued to support me and be there for me. And even when I was like scared and pushing him away, he gave me enough space to like make my own decision, but also continued to try and like continued to show up. And literally, I mean, I tried to push him away so hard. I was like, I can't have sex with you anymore. There was like one time on Valentine's Day, um, he was like, don't you want, literally verbatim, this is the conversation that my man said to me before we started dating. He was like, well, don't you want to be more than just the girl that I'm fucking? And I looked at him dead in the eye and I was like, I just rather be the girl that you're fucking. Because I was so afraid. I'm like, when is the rug going to get pulled out from underneath my feet? I guess what I just want you to take from this experience of healing, like, I think a lot of us think, like, before we get back into a relationship or start dating, we have to be 100% healed. But you can't heal yourself on your own. You heal yourself by being in other relationships, whether they're with family or with friends or with guys. And, like, some of those tests are going to come back. The universe is going to send you, like, these messages and these fuckboy guys and people that show some of the same characteristics of what you once dealt with. And it's going to be your job to have those boundaries firm enough to be like, nope. Nope. Someone else is better. Nope. Not putting up with that. Nope. Otherwise, you're just going to keep repeating the same lesson. I decided to go celibate because my ex-boyfriend beat it into my head that I was going to get HIV if I had sex with anyone other than him, even after we broke up. And then I was just attracting abusive men and decided I should just focus on myself for a bit. And then I recently broke my celibacy and have been unhinged ever since, girl. 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 And we get the voice memos to prove it. Damn, that's fucked up. Like, talk about an emotionally abusive man, a controlling man telling you like, oh, you're going to get STD. Well, fucking rain check. Hello. Like, of course these things can happen, but oh, it's like someone saying you're never going to find anyone better than me. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. But I love this message. Like, the beauty of this message is the self-awareness that is here in the reasoning of why you decided to go celibate, and you were able to like understand that you just kept picking up abusive men, and you're like, okay, this isn't good. I have to change. I got to do something. Got to take a beat and beat my meat. No, that was so cringy. Okay, on to the next. Last one. I am celibate because I feel like having a strong connection during sex makes it 100% better. One night stands don't give me an orgasm usually, and even then, even if you want it again, you can't usually have it because men are usually one and done. Pretty lame. So I'd rather masturbate and wait on someone to fill those needs. Good for fucking you, sister. Get in there and flick that bean, girl, because I just fucking can't with men sometimes. Like, the audacity. How is dating still like this? How are you just gonna hump it and dump it? Like, a moment of silence. And on that note, happy fucking Monday. Are you still talking? Girl, stop talking.